If the universe is everywhere, why can't you feel it? This is the question that has echoed through the ages, haunting humanity for centuries. Believers contemplate in empty silence, seekers explore, and often find nothing. Doubters point to this silence as undeniable proof that no one's listening, that there's no guiding hand. But Albert Einstein, he had an answer. And his answer reveals why almost everyone is searching for the universe, for the source, in the wrong place. Back in 1929, a pastor named David Miller sent Einstein a telegram. The question? Simple. Do you believe in the universe? The pastor offered to cover the costs. Up to 50 words in response. Einstein replied in just 27 words. In German, mind you. He stated, "I believe in Spinoza's universe, which reveals itself in the harmony of all that exists, not in a universe that concerns itself with the petty fate and doings of mankind." 27 words that shifted everything. Most people read this and assume Einstein was dodging the question entirely, or being deliberately vague, or hedging his bets between believers and, well, non-believers. They couldn't be more wrong. Einstein was providing the most precise answer imaginable. He was explaining, in detail, exactly why you can't feel the universe or the source in the way religion has conditioned you to expect. And he was pointing toward a different way of experiencing the divine, a path most people haven't even considered. Let me break down what Einstein truly meant. The universe, or God, that most people are searching for is a personal one, a being who created the universe, but exists somehow outside of it, a consciousness that keenly watches over human affairs, a guiding hand who listens to reflections, who rewards those who follow the path, and who punishes those who stray. This is the God of churches, temples, and mosques, the God who speaks through prophets and ancient texts, the God who steps into human history through miracles, like turning lead into gold. Einstein, he did not subscribe to this concept. He made that crystal clear, repeatedly, throughout his life. He dismissed the idea of a personal universe as naive, saying it was simply a projection of human weakness onto the infinite. He rejected the notion of a universe that micromanages the fate and actions of humankind. But here's what most people completely miss. Einstein didn't believe this particular universe existed. And that's precisely why you can't feel it. You can't feel something that isn't there. You can't establish contact with a being that exists solely within the realm of human imagination. The silence you experience during contemplation, that isn't the universe ignoring you. It's the absence of the universe you were taught to expect. But Einstein, he believed in a different universe, a universe that actually exists, a universe you can feel if you simply learn how to perceive it. This was Spinoza's universe. Baruch Spinoza, a philosopher who lived in 17th century Amsterdam. He was excommunicated from his religious community for promoting ideas so radical that religious authorities sought to silence him forever. The official document of his excommunication still exists. It's called an excommunication, the most severe form of religious expulsion. The rabbis, they condemned Spinoza with every curse imaginable. They decreed that he be shunned from dawn till dusk, cursed when he rested and cursed when he awoke. No one was permitted to communicate with him or even stand within 6 feet of him. He was to be completely cut off from human interaction. Spinoza was a mere 23 years old when this occurred. He devoted the remainder of his life to grinding lenses for a living, all while writing philosophy that would profoundly influence Einstein 3 centuries later. What made his ideas so dangerous? What core beliefs did Spinoza hold that warranted such an extreme punishment? He believed that the universe and nature are one and the same, not two separate entities, but a single reality, viewed from two distinct perspectives. When you examine the universe through the lens of mathematics and science, you perceive nature, the immutable laws of physics, the intricate patterns that govern everything from the tiniest atoms to the vast galaxies, the underlying order that renders existence comprehensible. When you take a step back and question why these laws exist at all, you encounter the universe, not as a being who dictated these laws from an external vantage point, but as the laws themselves, the very mathematical structure of reality, the fundamental reason why there is something rather than nothing. Spinoza referred to this as the universe or nature, Deus sive natura, two names for the same infinite reality. Einstein found this concept compelling because it resonated deeply with what his physics revealed. The universe, it is not random. It adheres to patterns so incredibly precise that humans can actually decipher them. The same equations that accurately describe the fall of an apple also describe the precise orbit of planets around distant stars. The mathematics works consistently, everywhere, at all times, without exception. This Einstein believed was the real miracle, not fantastical tales, but the profound fact that the universe is comprehensible at all. He stated, "The eternal mystery of the world is its comprehensibility. The fact that it is comprehensible is a miracle." A miracle. Einstein used that word with intention. The comprehensibility of the universe was, for him, a deeply religious experience, not in the conventional sense, but something he referred to as the cosmic sense of awe. In 1930, Einstein penned an essay explaining this profound feeling. He outlined three distinct stages of religious development. The first stage is fear. Primitive humans were gripped by terror of nature, thunder, lightning, disease, death. They conjured up gods to explain these terrors and to barter with them. If I sacrifice this animal, perhaps the storm will spare me. The second stage is morality. As societies evolved, they required rules to bind communities together. Religion supplied these rules by positing a God who observes everything, a God who rewards virtuous behavior and punishes wickedness, a cosmic guardian who ensures justice even when earthly authorities fail. But the third stage, Einstein argued, is fundamentally different from the preceding two. He termed it the cosmic sense of awe, and he believed it represented the highest form of religious experience. This feeling, Einstein wrote, knows no dogma and no God conceived in man's image. It stems from experiencing the sublimity and the marvelous order which reveal themselves in nature. It is the deep desire to experience the universe as a single, significant whole. A single, significant whole. This is what Einstein felt when he gazed at the universe. Not fear, not moral obligation, but profound awe, wonder, the overwhelming sense of being in the presence of something infinitely greater than himself. And this is precisely why you can't feel the universe in the way religion has taught you. You're searching for a person, a being with opinions and preferences, a consciousness that is actively paying attention to your individual concerns. But the universe Einstein believed in is not a person. It is the mathematical, underlying order of existence itself. It doesn't hold opinions. It doesn't answer petitions. It doesn't reward or punish. It simply is. And to truly feel this universe, you must learn a different kind of observation. Think about what transpires when you contemplate in the traditional manner. You close your eyes, you turn inward, you address an invisible being, as if it were an individual sitting directly across from you. You make requests, you confess things, You wait for a response, but no response comes because there's no person there. The personal source is a human invention, a comforting story we tell ourselves, because the truth is harder to face. Now, think about what happens when you look at the night sky. Really look at it. Not with expectations, not with contemplations, just look. You see thousands of stars, each one a sun like ours. Many have planets orbiting them. The light reaching your eyes left those stars years ago, sometimes centuries ago, sometimes millennia ago. You're looking at the past, spread across the sky, and all of it follows the same laws. The same gravity that holds you to Earth holds those stars in their galaxies. The same nuclear fusion that powers our sun, powers those distant fires. The mathematics is identical everywhere. If you truly grasp this, something shifts inside you. The feeling is hard to describe. It's not comfort in the traditional sense. It's not the warmth of believing someone is watching over you. It's something colder and stranger and more profound. It is awe. But here's something important to understand about why we can't feel the underlying order in the traditional sense. Our senses are limited, profoundly limited. We can only see a tiny sliver of the electromagnetic spectrum. The light we call visible is just a narrow band between infrared and ultraviolet. We can't see radio waves, though they fill the air around us. We can't see X-rays or gamma rays. Most of the universe is invisible to us. We can only hear sounds within a certain range of frequencies. Below that range is infrasound. Above it is ultrasound. Entire worlds of vibration exist that we can never perceive directly. Our sense of time is also limited. We experience seconds and minutes and hours, but the universe operates on scales we can't feel. Stars live for billions of years. Galaxies take hundreds of millions of years to rotate once. At the other extreme, subatomic particles exist for billionths of a second. We're trapped in a narrow window of time perception. Given these limitations, why would we expect to feel the underlying order directly? If the underlying order is the mathematical order of the universe, if the underlying order is the laws that govern everything, from quarks to superclusters, then the underlying order operates on scales far beyond our senses. We can't see gravity, but it shapes the cosmos. We can't feel the strong nuclear force, but it holds atoms together. We can't perceive the curvature of space-time, but it determines the path of light across billions of years. Albert Einstein understood this. He knew that the most profound aspects of reality are invisible to our senses. They can only be grasped through mathematics, through reason, through the patient work of science that reveals what our eyes can never see. This is why the sense of awe requires a different kind of perception, not the perception of the senses, but the perception of the mind, the recognition that beneath the surface of things, there's an order so profound that it takes your breath away. Einstein said this sense of awe was the strongest and noblest motive for scientific research. He said that only those who experience it can understand the strength of emotion that drives scientific discovery. He said, to know that what is impenetrable to us really exists, manifesting itself as the highest wisdom and the most radiant beauty, which our dull faculties can comprehend only in their most primitive forms. This knowledge, this feeling, is at the center of true religiousness. This knowledge, this feeling, is at the center of true religiousness. Einstein was not rejecting religion. He was redefining it. He was saying that the deepest religious experience is not faith in a personal source. It's AWE, before the mathematical order of existence. And this AWE is available to anyone who learns to look. You don't need to believe a particular creed. You don't need to follow a particular scripture. You don't need priests or prophets or temples. You need only to look at the universe with honest eyes and let its order overwhelm you. But here's the paradox that Einstein understood. Most people don't want this kind of underlying order. They want a source who cares about them personally, a source who listens to their specific problems, a source who makes them feel important in a universe that otherwise seems indifferent. The sense of awe doesn't offer this comfort. It doesn't make you the center of anything. It reveals that you're one tiny expression of an infinite order, a pattern of matter that has briefly become aware of itself, a wave in an ocean that has no shore. Some people find this terrifying. The loss of personal significance, the dissolution of the comforting story, the cold mathematics where there used to be a warm embrace. But Einstein found it liberating. Why? Because the personal source comes with personal anxiety. If the source is watching you, then the source is judging you. If the source answers prayers, then the source might say no to yours. If the source rewards and punishes, then you must constantly worry whether you've pleased him. The personal source creates personal guilt, personal fear, personal insecurity. But Spinoza's universe doesn't judge. The laws of physics don't have opinions about you. Gravity doesn't care whether you're good or bad. The mathematical order of the universe includes you exactly as you are, without approval or disapproval. Einstein said this understanding brought him peace. He wrote, "This awareness of the lack of free will keeps me from taking myself and my fellow men too seriously as acting and deciding individuals, and from losing my temper." Think about what this means. If we're all expressions of the same cosmic order, then anger at others becomes irrational. The person who wrongs you isn't freely choosing to be evil. They're a pattern of matter following the only path the laws of physics allow. Blaming them makes no more sense than blaming the weather. This doesn't mean Einstein thought we should abandon morality. We still need laws and consequences, but we should hold them with humility. We should recognize that the line between saint and sinner isn't drawn by free choice, but by circumstance. And when you understand this, something in you relaxes. The sense of awe isn't cold after all. It brings a strange kind of warmth. The warmth of being at home in the universe. The warmth of not needing a personal source to feel significant. The warmth of belonging to something infinite. He said, "A human being is part of the whole, called by us the universe. He experiences himself, his thoughts and feelings, as something separated from the rest, a kind of optical delusion of his consciousness." An optical delusion. The feeling that you're separate from the underlying order isn't because the underlying order is hiding. It's because you've constructed a false boundary. You drew a line between yourself and the universe, between your consciousness and everything else, between the creature and the creator. But according to Spinoza and Einstein, that line does not exist. You are not separate from the universe, because the universe is not separate from nature, and you are part of nature. Every atom in your body was forged in stars. Every thought in your mind is a pattern of electrical activity, governed by the same laws that govern galaxies. You are the universe becoming conscious of itself. You are the underlying order, looking at the underlying order through human eyes. If this is true, then the question changes. It is not. Why can I not feel the underlying order? It is. Why do I feel separated from what I actually am? The answer, Einstein believed, is that we are trapped in the illusion of separation. We identify with the small self, the individual ego, the personal story. And from this perspective, the underlying order seems distant, absent, silent. But shift your perspective. Stop looking for a person outside yourself. Start seeing the mathematical order that runs through everything, including you. And suddenly, the underlying order is not hidden at all. The underlying order is the equations that describe your neurons firing. The underlying order is the physics that holds your atoms together. The underlying order is the chemistry of your blood, the mathematics of your heartbeat, the cosmic order that makes existence possible. You cannot feel the underlying order the way you feel another person's presence, but you can feel the awe that comes from recognizing what you are, what everything is, the single, significant whole that Spinoza called the universe, or nature. Einstein admitted that this feeling is difficult to convey. He said it is very difficult to elucidate this feeling to anyone who is entirely without it. There is no anthropomorphic conception of the underlying order corresponding to it. This is why traditional religion fails for so many people. They are taught to look for a personal source. When they do not find one, they conclude that the source does not exist. But they never tried looking for the source that actually exists, the source of order and mathematics and cosmic wonder. Einstein spent his entire scientific career feeling this source. Every equation was a glimpse of the divine. Every discovery was a revelation. Every moment of scientific insight was a religious experience. In the deepest sense, he said, "The universe is a mystery, but a comprehensible mystery. I have nothing but awe when I observe the laws of nature." A comprehensible mystery. This is perhaps the most profound statement about the universe that anyone has ever made. The universe is not comprehensible in the sense that we can fully understand the infinite, but the universe is comprehensible in the sense that the universe follows rules we can discover, that mathematics works, that science is possible. And this comprehensibility is not cold or mechanical. It is beautiful. Einstein called it the most radiant beauty. He said our dull faculties can only glimpse it in primitive forms, but even those glimpses are enough to change your life. Consider what it means that the same equation describes both the falling of rain and the orbit of the moon, that the same mathematics governs the vibration of a guitar string and the oscillation of atoms in a crystal, that the laws Einstein discovered in 1905 still work perfectly today across the entire universe as far as we can observe. This is not random. This is not chaos. This is order so deep and so consistent that it borders on the miraculous. And Einstein felt this miracle every day of his scientific life. He once said, "The years of searching in the dark for a truth that one feels but cannot express, the intense desire and the alternations of confidence and misgiving, until one breaks through to clarity and understanding, are only known to him who has himself experienced them." This is the scientific version of religious experience, the breakthrough to clarity, the moment when the mathematics suddenly makes sense, the glimpse of the order that runs through everything. Most people never have this experience because they never study mathematics or physics deeply enough. They think science is dry and mechanical. They do not realize that for Einstein, doing physics was like hearing the universe speak in the language of equations. So now, do you feel the universe? Not through prayer as traditionally understood, not through faith in doctrines or scriptures, not through hoping that a personal being is listening to your thoughts. You feel the universe through attention, through learning to see the order that runs through everything, through studying mathematics and physics and chemistry and biology, through looking at the night sky until the scale of existence overwhelms your small concerns. You feel the universe through wonder, through letting yourself be astonished by the fact that anything exists at all, through recognizing that the patterns in your mind are the same patterns that shape galaxies. You feel the universe through awe, that feeling that Einstein called the sense of awe, the sense of being in the presence of something infinitely greater than yourself. Something that does not care about your individual story, but includes your individual story as part of its infinite expression. This is what Einstein meant when he said he believed in Spinoza's universe. Not a universe who hides, a universe who reveals himself in everything, if you learn how to look. Not a universe who is silent, a universe who speaks through mathematics, through physics, through the order that makes existence possible. If the universe is everywhere, why can you not feel him? Because you are looking for a person who is not there. Stop looking for that person. Start looking at the mathematical order of existence, and you will find something far stranger and far more profound than any traditional concept could offer. You will find reality itself, revealed as divine. This is what Einstein spent his life experiencing. This is why he could face death without fear, not because he believed in heaven, not because he expected to meet a personal source, but because he knew he was already part of something eternal. The laws of physics do not die. The mathematical order does not end. The patterns that make existence possible continue forever, in forms we cannot imagine. And Einstein was part of those patterns, as are you. When Einstein lay dying in Princeton Hospital in 1955, he did not pray to a personal source. He asked for paper and pencil. He spent his final hours writing equations, still searching, still reaching for the order that had given his life meaning. And when he died, his consciousness dissolved back into the same universe that had temporarily concentrated itself in his brain. The wave returned to the ocean, the pattern dispersed into the infinite whole from which it came. Was this the end? In one sense, yes. The particular configuration of matter that was Albert Einstein ceased to exist. But in another sense, nothing ended at all. The order remained. The mathematics remained. The sense of AW that Einstein experienced is still accessible to anyone who learns how to truly see, and it's available to you right now. You don't need to wait until you pass away to feel what Einstein felt. You don't need to contemplate an absent source. You don't need unwavering faith in things you can't see. You simply need to open your eyes, to observe the universe as it actually is, to recognize that the inherent order running through everything also runs through you, that you aren't separate from the universe, because there is no separation. There is only one reality, expressing itself in infinite forms, including the very form that is reading or listening to these words. This is Einstein's perspective on why you might not feel the universe. You are experiencing the universe right now. The electrical patterns in your brain that generate your thoughts are the universe. The complex chemistry that sustains your body is the universe. The intricate mathematics that governs your very existence is the universe. You simply haven't recognized it because you were searching for something else, a personified being, a guiding hand, a voice in the silence. But the universe isn't a voice. The universe is the silence itself, the underlying order that makes silence possible, the fundamental mathematics that underpins everything, including your own consciousness. Comment awe. If you've ever experienced what Einstein described, that moment when the sheer scale and intricate order of the universe completely overwhelmed your sense of self. Comment searching if you're still seeking the universe and haven't yet discovered what Einstein found. Perhaps this video is the beginning of your search in a new direction. And tell me, do you think Einstein was right? Is the concept of a personal God simply an illusion we've created because the real universe is too vast, too strange, and too impersonal to truly comfort us? I will be reading every comment within the first 2 hours. This conversation is so important because the question of the universe isn't just an abstract philosophical debate. It shapes how we live our lives. It defines what we hope for. It colors everything. Einstein found profound peace in his sense of awe. He faced the end of his life without fear because he understood what he actually was. Not a separate person who would meet a personal God, but a pattern of the universe, returning to its source. Perhaps that understanding can also help you, because the universe isn't hiding from you. The universe isn't silent. The universe isn't absent. The universe is everywhere, in the elegant mathematics, in the fundamental physics, in the inherent order that makes your very thoughts possible. Right now, you are already experiencing the universe. You just haven't recognized it until now.